Anyway, so wow. Vulture's trying to run and harass. It looks like they're gonna get stopped. His Vulture harass has been lacking, so very cute, very clever with the with the Wraith Vessel combo there, but he's really failing on his Vulture harass really badly. He's lost now 8 Vultures maybe, and he's killed like 5, 6 probes. Technically that's like an even trade, but you want to have more than just an even trade in that kind of situation, because yeah, that's how a Terran can get an advantage, basically. Whoa, that mine almost went off in the whole group. Oh, second mine almost went off in the whole group. Wow, barely avoiding and getting hit by those mines. I think there was some quick hold position micro from Free, actually. Barely fighting off those mines and managed to get several of those Dragoons out of there alive, despite the fact that they were a little bit outnumbered there. So he has those observers out. He's got a lot of observers, at least, though he hasn't lost very many of them, and so he's able to keep vision around on the different parts of the map in the middle. He's kind of been scared back a little bit, though. Freak can't really, Light can't really move that vessel out too far, though, or he risks losing as well. But Light actually pushing in here with a little bit of an attack. He's going to siege up right outside that natural expansion. He's going to try and push in here. There's a lot of Dragoons here, but he really needs some Zealots here. And Free is now in a little bit of trouble, and he sees it. You can see with his gaping mouth that he knows he's in some trouble. And he's going to have his natural expansion start getting shelled here. He's going to have to stop mining in a couple of his patches there. And he needs some Zealots out quick. He needs some speed Zealots out now. And he's still producing Dragoons. But the next round, I wouldn't be surprised if his next round of gateways is all Zealots here, because he has a bunch of stuff bearing down on his natural expansion here. Light is really putting the hurt on him right now, and I did not see this coming. He just moved out with a ton of units, and this is, Light is in huge danger of a counterattack, though. A bunch of Dragoons coming in here. This is the key, though. This is the key moment. He's still got a single siege tank back there. If he can repair and use that one siege tank. Oh, no. What are you doing? There's only one siege tank there. He could have theoretically, I think he might have been able to run there and snipe that siege tank. I'm not sure why he didn't try and do that. That would have been epic if he did that. He could, well, then another siege tank would have followed up behind that. So I guess it would have been kind of never-ending thing going on there. But still, very vulnerable to a counterattack, and Free kind of missing his opportunity for a counterattack. Now he's getting some Zealots in the mix, using those Zealots to try and draw Zealot fire. He should have Arbiters up by now. Okay, there's the Arbiter going in. The Arbiter's not really going to do a whole lot, though, unless he can stasis those tanks. Oh, Mind Drag on 2 of the tanks. Mind Drags 2 of the tanks, beautifully done, and takes out the other units as well, with Dragoons coming in from both sides. He's going to clean up those tanks. The defense matrix is going to go off on one of the tanks, but that's only going to let it get a single shot off extra, and then it's going to go down here. And failed drop going on from Light at the top, although a smart place, since all of his forces, all of Free's forces were down south, and he's actually going to protect this drop a little bit. He's got mines down there, and MBCGame Heroes coach going, come on, Light, come on, get his probes. He's doing a really, wow, look at that. Oh, he sieged up both bases at once. That was brilliant, actually. Running in some Vultures to lay down mines, and then dropping a tank at each base and attacking as well. Takes out a few probes. Also, a lot of lost mining time. I don't know how many probes he lost in that second expansion, but this is looking really good for Light. Jesus, Light is tearing up the Woongjin Stars team. He's in a huge lead right now. He's got 3 bases up, and, well, I wouldn't call it a huge lead, actually, because I don't know how many probes he lost. But I would say the Light is in lead. He's getting his 4th base up. He might have that up very soon. Now, this is kind of a tricky spot, though, because, whoa. Okay, Light decides he can't defend that command center. He's just going to cancel it straight away. Not even try. He's macroing up a decent amount of forces. He's kind of in a precarious, that's the word I'm looking for, a precarious position right now, because he doesn't have a ton of forces, and if he tries to get that 4th base, if he tries to move out and get that 4th base, Light is going to start getting vulnerable, because that is one of the problems about this map for Terran, is it's better because there's less bases, and so if they capture 4 or 5 bases, then they have most of the map, or a large portion of the map. But it can also be bad because you have this long area to defend, especially when there's recalls going on. You can get attacked on any portion along the entire vertical line from the north to the south. When there's Arbiters in play. So you really end up spreading yourself thin, and Terrans can end up spreading themselves very thin, and then basically it can just turn into a fight for them to hold off that middle of the map and just fight along the entire middle of the map for long enough to starve out the Protoss and gain an advantage, macro advantage that way by having an equal amount of bases. But he's now just pushing down the middle, actually. He might even, I was thinking he didn't have enough forces to really hold, but he's just pumped out a ton of vultures to support his few tanks. He's going to try and make another push here. While Free also doesn't have a ton of forces yet either. He's making a decent push here. He's got, but only like 5 or 6 tanks. I don't know if it's an, oh! EMP goes off to misses the Arbiters. Arbiters are still in play. The other vessel is stasis, so those Arbiters have full mana. He's going to go in. He's going in for an attack. If he stasises all the tanks, he could easily overrun this force. He's going in. Another EMP goes off on one of the vessels. The other vessel, I'm sorry, on one of the Arbiters, the other Arbiter catches the tank and vultures in the vessel as well. And he's going with his ulti. It looks like all the vultures got stasis, so there's nothing to hold these vultures back. The vultures run straight up to the tanks and own the tanks completely. It looks like he actually, he caught 2 tanks in there with the vessel as well. Didn't catch as many vultures as I thought, but what that means is that Light had less vultures than I expected. I really have no idea why Light decided to do that, to be completely honest. He had his 3 bases. He was trying to macro up and get that 4th base, but he barely had enough to defend. I mean, he was pushed back into his base, but he tried to move out instead. I guess it almost worked, so it's not a horrible idea, but really, I mean, he just moved out with not enough units. I mean, he had to know that Free had a larger army at that point, but he moved out with, what, 7 tanks? Maximum of 7 tanks, and maybe a dozen vultures, a couple Goliaths, a couple vessels. 7 tanks is not going to be enough to stand up to that large of a Protoss force. And now Free has been mining and has steady mining and building up probes for this whole time. So he is doing very, very well in his economy, but maybe not for long. We've got tanks moving in here, attacking this top position. And this would have been a better position because this is a nice little choke there. It would have been much more difficult for Light to... for Free to fight this off. If this had been where his primary attack had been, he probably would have taken out a base as well, instead of just pushing into the middle and losing his whole army without really accomplishing much. He was in a wide open space. I guess that's also part of why Free was able to beat him there, is because Light kind of tried to camp in a wide open space instead of a smaller area, and so Free was able to get a lot more forces attacking at once. Anyway, but Light is taking that bottom right position now. Free might be able to take advantage of this pretty soon here, because we just saw Light lose an army, re-macro up a little army, lose it again. So he does not have a ton of units right now. I mean, this is the point where you'd expect someone like Flash to be finally moving out with a maxed 2-1 army or max 3-2 army or something like that. Oh, who's gonna see who first? Vessel almost decides to run away, but what is he doing? Vessel, what's wrong with you? There's the EMP. Maybe he was almost out of... Maybe he didn't have enough energy for an EMP, and so he was waiting for that little bit of energy. And it looks like Light is setting up to take that 6 o'clock position. If Light takes that 6 o'clock position, he is set. He is set because then he's got half the map, and it's a really strong position to hold, especially where he's setting up right now. He's kind of setting up to hold it from behind, which is really smart. Free at the moment does have that position though. It looks like he's forced Light to fall back from that location. So Free actually is now on his 5th base. So Free still 1 base ahead, still doing fine in that regard. Oh man, I have a sneeze coming. Okay, maybe it's decided to go away. The sneeze has been held at bay by the epicness of this match. This match is turning into an epic one indeed. We've got vessels all over the map just waiting for these arbiters to come in. And if he can, you know, EMP or hold off somehow those those arbiters, it's just going to be key because, like I said, this can end up... Oh no, probes! Probes! Oh, he only kills a couple actually. Nice work, Zealot. Very, very well done of that Zealot. Running in, taking not just one, but taking several for the team. Letting those probes get by and start mining again. So, nice little move there. But yeah, another Arbiter gets sent packing by an EMP. So he's not able to get these recalls in. And this is a time when he needs to get those recalls in. When Light is still a little bit vulnerable. When he's still stretched thin. Still trying to hold 4 bases with just a single, you know... Well, his army's kind of stretched out. And now he's going to attack again. And maybe this is Light's solution to having to defend so many fronts at once, is Arbiter is he gonna stasis those tanks? Come on. Oh, nails 4 tanks with 1 stasis.